Want to know who we are? Let's start here. We do this, that, and we make all of these. We're here to connect and power just about everything around you. We help you save energy. We're not trying to save the world, but we are making the most of our energy and resources and making access to energy and digital basic human rights. Life is on.
What capabilities are available for industrial control systems in the prediction and modeling of data?
It's always more productivity, more sustainability. How do we do more? And if I look at it from that perspective, we know that downtime costs you dollars. For every hour or every minute that you're not running a production line, that means you're not producing. That means your efficiency goes down. If I look at prediction software and I look at modeling software and and modeling of data, it really helps bridge some of those gaps. Today, there's modeling software where you could literally commission an entire line, right at your desktop, sitting in your office or even sitting in your lounge. You get your little laptop, you commission it, you do all the modeling software, you test it, you debug it before you even get to the production line. So, if you went 5, 10, 20 years back, some of these commissioning of lines and upgrades, could take you weeks, months, sometimes several months. Now, the norm or the benchmark is to have commissioning done in a matter of days, if not weeks. And modeling allows you to achieve that. So that is one of the big capabilities. If I take the step forward and say, once you're in production and you're running, you want to now look at the prediction. No more. So if I look at planned maintenance is now a thing of the past. It's now predictive maintenance, and it's prescriptive maintenance, because you want the data to be used to actually tell you when a failure is going to occur. And then if we take a step forward in terms of the prescriptive, the data needs to tell you what to do to prevent the failure. So for me, if I look at industrial control systems and if I look at the capabilities, I think it's limitless. I think it comes down to two key components. One, the hardware that you put in place, and two, your limitation of your imagination and understanding what you want to achieve out of your software and control system.
Vic, I'll turn to you next on that one. What capabilities are available for control systems in terms of the modeling of data?
Yeah, I would say that modern day control systems allow information to be modeled because it can be contextualized. You can have extensive definitions with your data, so that you now have the ability to describe the data, describe devices, machines, lines, even the plant, all part of a data. So instead of getting a 1 or a 0 from a sensor, I now still get the 1 or a 0, but I get a timestamp. I get information that sensor is on, the third production line underneath the robot, and sensing whether an axle has arrived or not arrived. So now I have all of this data that comes to me, whereas in the old days it's a 1 or it's a 0, and that's it. And I didn't have all that additional background that I could start doing an analysis and better understand really what's going on here. So, I would have to say with, the hardware predominantly, with controllers now being able to provide that, it really brings extended value to the control system, the process, and the business.
Well, we definitely, I think Vic is already making the point, is that the systems now are getting more intelligent, right? Where when I began in this industry, I'd be lucky enough if I was able to identify what register the information was being held in, right? Now you're getting a lot of verbose information. I'm able to get the limits or anything. I might be able to have everything I need to stand up the systems north of that, to be able to create the data elements, to be able to identify where I'm going to store the information. All this information is there because as engineers, I know for myself, if you told me the tag name of anything, I could tell you. I could tell you what wires it was on. I could tell you what conduit runs it was in. I could tell you everything based on that. And you can utilize that information that you're getting from these assets to dynamically assemble everything from visualization to analytics. And there's so much of it that can be done. And so as we start getting more information pushed from the edge to the systems themselves will be much easier to maintain, much easier to expand, because in the past, systems were very much set it and forget it. I'm going to put this system in, I'm going to go through the factory acceptance test, and then no one's going to touch it unless they get approval to touch it. Now we find systems that are living and breathing, things that we're constantly commissioning new things, decommissioning old things, and this will make that job way easier.
We're hearing a lot about 5G, obviously, as consumers, but also in the industry itself and what it means for manufacturing. So I'm wondering if you could kind of give a brief overview of what role you think 5G is going to play as it sort of rolls out into industrial spaces. Vic, maybe you could start with that one.
Sure. So just quickly, I think 5G is going to foster manufacturing getting to the next level of industrial revolution. In essence, most transactions will be in real time with large data payloads. And it's going to make things like augmented and virtual reality to assist operations and maintenance a panacea. Lower latency, increased capacity, higher data speeds will all accelerate achieving smart factories.
So if I look at where I believe the impacts will be happening first, I think it'll happen in those particular processes and operations that tend to be geographically distributed. Today, it's pretty common in those applications that people have to stand up their own radio towers, or they have to lease lines out of satellite networks. And now suddenly they're able to piggyback on public networks with higher data fidelity, add more devices at a lower cost than what they were doing before. This will create a step change. And so for those systems today, when they may be happy to get data once every 15 minutes, now they're able to get that data every second, and it's going to be lower cost for them overall. And they're going to have more instrumentation. The other angle of that is not so much data connecting to the systems, but people connecting to systems. So in the past, I've seen a lot of organizations where, they won't have wireless devices because they don't stand up wireless networks on the control networks, and they're not even going to have wireless networks out there. So you can have your handheld device, but there's nothing you can connect to when you're on the production floor. But that's the other aspect of 5G, that'll make ubiquitous access back to the people, so that those devices are having. So if I'm not standing in front of that thing clad in stainless steel that's my entry point into the system, I can now use the one that's in my pocket.